Hello and welcome on back to Control. Now, honestly, much like any stream I do, I have no real plan going into this, but ideally, gonna complete the DLC, complete any other things I might want to do, and then be done with Control. I mean, I can just fast travel there.
Welcome back, Director.
I mean, this one looks almost cool. I don't know if it's just me, but like the fucking ass being a different like material bothers me immensely. Like I don't know. Again, it's probably just a me thing, but like I don't know. Why do that?
Hey there, Director.
Like I get that maybe theoretically it's supposed to be like a comfort thing, but I mean like, you know, it's not it's not a theoretical point to it. Anyway. Let's head on down to the DLC area doing the Alan Wake DLC. And, I'll tell you what. According to my game, I'm 71% of the way through the DLC, so this might not be long at all. But, you know, I'm gonna be honest, you know, I don't really care about Alan Wake or anything that's going on in this DLC. But I'll tell you what.
What are you doing in investigations?
Jesus, don't scare me like that, Langston.
If you're talking right now, I can't hear you. It's a one-way system. Try to find an intercom.
Langston, it's me, Jesse.
I know. I can see you on the monitors. The cameras in there haven't worked since we sealed that sector off a couple years back.
Let me guess. You sealed it because of the monster guy.
Wait, did you see Dr. Hartman? Jesus, I really wish you hadn't opened that fire break. Okay, listen, you need to find Hartman and kill him before he gets out into the Bureau.
That thing is a person?
He was a person. We brought him here to study after he was, altered in an AWE. I forget the medical word for what happened, but now light physically hurts him. Do you have a flashlight?
No.
A lantern? Headlamp? Oh yeah, flare gun. Oh, Christmas lights. You could wrap them around your...
I don't have any of those, Langston.
Shit. Okay, well, I'm sure you'll think of something. I'll keep an eye on you from the Panopticon. This is kind of exciting, right?
Maybe from where you're standing.
Right, okay. Well, break a leg. Oh, why did I say that?
Okay, this Hartman thing can't have gotten very far. Let's go flush him out. Langston was right. This is kind of exciting.
It's just nice to have someone to talk to, you know? Ever since I got put in charge of the Panopticon, people treat me different, like I'm crazy for wanting to work with altered items. People just don't understand the altered items like I do, you know? I don't want to brag, but it does take a very empathetic mind to connect with the items.
Doesn't want to
I don't know why
brag.
people are making it so personal.
Right.
I mean, the teams in research handle paranatural materials every day, and no one thinks they're weird. Well, maybe that's not true. Darling is famous for being a bit out there, but when he's weird, it's charming. Altered items really aren't that frightening once you get to know them. If you figure out what they like or don't like, you know, what sets them off, then there's nothing to worry about. I guess at the end of the day, we're still just wild animals scared of our own shadows. We're supposed to be on the same team, but sometimes it feels like it's every department for themselves, like it's a race and we're all trying to be number one. If it is a race, though, I'd say Darling is a mile ahead of everyone else. He was Trench's golden boy for years, but that relationship has gotten pretty tense, or so I've heard through the grapevine. Not that I spread rumors, just, you know, people talk. Not me, though. I keep my nose to the grind. Too much work to do to focus on those kinds of things. I need to stay focused so I can get my work done and get home to feed Alfred.
He's just gonna talk forever,
isn't he? I
isn't
make
he?
it home for mealtime, so I have my neighbor check in on Alfred at 7 o'clock if I'm not back yet. She's very nice. Her name is Maria. She's older. She came to New York in the 50s to attend school and has been here ever since. She has a couple of kids. I met them at Thanksgiving. Big family. Very nice people. Anyway, she has a key to my apartment, and she gives Alfred his dinner if I'm not home. I'm gonna have to buy her a nice fruit arrangement as a thank you after this. I'm missing a lot of Alfred's meal times. She's probably gonna have to go to the store for more wet food. I'll have to remember to pay her back. Hold on, let me make a note. Pay back Maria for Alfred's food. Okay. Oh, one more thing. And I heard a fruit arrangement. All right, done. Are you a cat person? I don't think I ever asked. You seem like one, though. You'd like Alfred. He's very proper. Really carries himself well, you know. I named him after my favorite poet. Felt like a good fit. I got Alfred just before Sylvia died when I was at the... You know, I don't really remember where I got Alfred from. But, boy, those two did not get along. Oh, no. Sylvia thought she owned the place. Didn't like me getting in her way. Scratched me more than once when I was just trying to move her food bowl. That cat was a real asshole.
Wow.
I'm realizing now that
That's
language was
kinda
not
harsh.
entirely, professional. You see, Sylvia didn't tolerate most people, or animals, or anything. That's what I meant when I said asshole. I would never use that word about a person. It was just, hey, there's a light flashing on the console here. I gotta, check this out. I'll get back to you later.
Real smooth, Langston.
Yeah, I gotta say, that wasn't too bad. Like, honestly, I wish there was more stuff like that in the game, where, kinda, I don't know, I always think it's fun, sometimes just letting a voice actor into a booth and letting them just go off. But, yeah, I don't know. Like, I personally think it's just fun letting the voice actors kind of just, go on very long rants where they just keep talking. And, like, I don't know. I wish, like, Jessie had more of a personality. I get that her personality is that she kind of doesn't have one because she's a weirdo loner who doesn't often talk to people and spent her whole life paranoid and, you know, trying to figure out what happened at her hometown of Ordinary. But, I don't know. It would be nice if there were, like, times where she had more self-confidence. Like, sometimes she does. Like, sometimes she'll get me with her funny little comments. But other times I'm just like, Jessie, what are you doing? What? Who is this for? Because this ain't for me, Jessie. Why not? I'll go on the right side. Also, I don't know, Langston. Am I a cat person? What do you think? There's gotta be a light somewhere, right? I'll be honest, I think part of the reason why I'll never play out Alan Wake, and maybe I'm misunderstanding Alan Wake a bit, but like, I don't find the gameplay of holding a light up to something to be very, to be particularly good at all, you know? It's just like, it's a neat idea, but like, it's fucking boring, you know? Fun, exciting gameplay, holding a light up to the thing so I can progress. Well, that did something. I think I opened up that hallway across the way. Which I'll check out in a second. I want to make sure I'm not missing any secrets. Well, surely there'll be a light somewhere around here. Yeah, I gotta say, this is called Sober Tober, but I feel like I'm more here and more well thought out when I'm high. No, that's something. I could have just skipped this whole part if I brought a light down with me.
so dark in here to fight this thing.
fair, I don't have to be throwing shit. Or, you know, you could aim a button. Push a button to aim and then shoot. But, like, there's something viscerally fun to me about this fucking shit. Like, that's fucking fun. Like, that's a good gameplay loop to build your fucking game on. Not fucking shining a flashlight at shit. I think I did it, I assume. Okay. I gotta shine a light on this place. Oh. Maybe I don't.
Looks like whatever force had a hold on Hartman isn't mixing well with his corruption. Blake did call him the third thing. A chain letter. I remember these. Mom used to say they were evil. Better do what it says. You know, just in case. There must be a photocopier around here.
Alright. See, now that's fun. That's a genuine quirky aspect I like about Jesse's. He finds a little chain letter and she's like, well, I gotta send this out now. Ooh, look at that damage boost. Oh.
This piece is called Me and You. It's summer in New York City. A boy with a wolf's head eats some ice cream. The ice cream melts. The wolf head howls. We howl together. Me and you. The mayor stares at a bicycle. A little girl watches him watch the bike, watch him watch the bike, and on and on and on, like the ticking of 1,000 clocks. We listen to the ticking together, me and you. A traffic light decides it doesn't want to be a traffic light anymore. People call it names, and it's hurt. I take it to see a movie. We have a good time. Me and you. People think we're weird, but we ignore them. We're friends now, connected by a moment. We'll always share this story, even if people don't understand it. You and me and you.
Yo, I'm sorry, but did Langston take a traffic light on a date? That's pretty funny.
This is Director Faden. I require backup at this location.
I really don't see the point of this.
Let's do this!
Yeah, let's do this, son. Like, it'd be cool if, like, you know, you get named guys that come over and it's like, oh, hey, I'm Billy Bob Thornton. What do you need, director man? Anything you need? Say the word? Nah, man, you're Beck and Buck. You know, Joe or whatever. No, I mean, also, I'm not gonna say it doesn't also make sense to have faceless soldiers. take it probably supposed to go this way. Okay. This is the way to the next part. Secret area is over here. Fucking kidding me? What is this mod? I don't really care. Well, I got most of it cleared out, if not all of it. I was like, yeah, couldn't I just make this really easy by bringing a light with me? But it dies if you try to do that. Honestly, I'm not sure how to say that. I will say, this guy is pretty fucking freaky. Does this work as a light source? I gotta find generators. Oh. Yeah, try gun path. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, there we go. Like, you know, I appreciate games to like let you know, hey, you're low on health, but like after a while, man, it's like, I know I'm low on health. Can you fucking give me some visibility back? Can I fucking see the goddamn screen? Or no, I just gotta deal with blood being at the corners of my screen for all time. You're not gonna let me pick up the basketballs? Are you fucking kidding me, game? Funny. Alright. Fucking there we go, game. Why'd you have to wait so long to do that? Yeah. Well, if you're gonna kill me, man, just kill me. Alright, thanks, Dr. Hartman. Appreciate that, you know. Generator. Where is this thing? Let me up there. Last generator is just behind some random fucking panel.
There. One less place for him to hide.
Gerbil took the top head? What? Well, hold on a moment. I want to read about the Fraumo. Hartman or breast? Hartman background. Dr. Rhea Underhill is a professor at the University of Woodrow in the United Kingdom, where she teaches biology with a focus on botany. Dr. Underhill once worked with the Bureau as a parabotanist stationed in the research sector of the oldest house. She served with no incidents or demerits and is praised by those who formerly worked with her, including Dr. Darling. Dr. Underhill has no known connections to paracriminal organizations or any record of breaching her NDA since leaving the Bureau. Her civilian behavior has been ideal, with the exception of an ongoing personal relationship with Dr. Darling that appears to have begun during their time as co-workers in the research sector and revisited intermittently ever since. Depending on the duration of her work in the old house, it may be required to have both parties sign a relationship clearance form. This investigation has found no compelling reason to deny Dr. Darling's request to offer Dr. Underhill an interim position with the aim of finding a solution to the mold threshold. Oh, cool. The director steps closer to the horrible entity. He reaches out with a steady hand. You are mine now, creature. I will return you to my facility and control your power. Sir, we don't... The entity instead rushes forward and engulfs the director. He screams in pain as the scientist looks on and does nothing, like the coward that he is. I am not the one being examined. I am not the one locked inside a prison. Gradually, the director emerges from the entity. His once sparkling eyes are now empty and dull. The scientist rushes to him. Sir? Sir, we had to escape. We cannot. They are in control now. I got what I wanted. Yeah, Frau Mao. Paranatural entity arrived on Earth by infiltrating the Apollo 14 mission at an unknown point of their voyage to the Frau Maro Highlands of the Moon. Maro? Maro? Honestly, not sure how to say that word. 32 hours after the return of Apollo 14 command module to Earth, the Bureau was contacted by a White House senior official and instructed to send a small team to the Johnson Space Center in Houston. At the base, the team examined the entity and carried out interviews with NASA staff. They learned that 4 astronauts had returned to Earth instead of the expected 3. Each human crew member was insistent that the mission left with 4 members, though they couldn't name the 4th when asked. The entity seemingly affected their memory to make its presence feel unremarkable. The entity was transported to the oldest house for further investigation. Note, an altercation between NASA security and the investigation team occurred upon their arrival. Mr. called to clarify the matter. Though tensions remain high, Bureau jurisdiction and clearance should be defined more clearly with other federal agencies. The Apollo 14 entity, commonly known as FRA, underwent a series of physical examinations upon its admittance to the oldest house. The entity can speak, though its poor grasp of the English language makes any meaningful communication impossible. Interview material can be found at... Its physical form consists solely of Extravehicular Mobility Unit, EMU, space suit used by NASA astronauts, the same model worn by the other crew. This could be authentic EMU taken from one of the NASA astronauts, though the suit does not bear any wearer's name, or one materialized through conversion or possibly corporealization. The suit itself is slightly damaged, which is likely due to the fact that the command module did not have a forced seat for the entity to strap into during re-entry. The EMU is entirely hollow and pieces can be removed, though this seems to agitate the entity. X-rays and spectrograph imaging have shown shaped outlines existing within the suit. For safety reasons, the entity will be contained in a secure cell until more information can be gathered. A train derailment resulting in 62 casualties and numerous injuries was suspected to have been the work of a paracriminal group known as. As a result of this event, the agents discovered that one of the cars had become altered with persistent auditory event. It remains to be determined whether AWE was spontaneous or the direct result of the sabotage. The Bureau had been tracking said group at the time, and the intel gathered suggested an event of this caliber was imminent in Bloomington. As a result, a response team on site was able to respond to the train accident site within minutes of its occurrence. They arrived to find emergency processes underway, but also equipment left behind by the suspected group. A suspicious onlooker managed to elude agents after they attempted to make contact. Further investigation of the accident site revealed a curiously undamaged train car that exhibited an altered state when entered. This individual car was secured and transported to the investigation sector for further studies. Well, let's go do that. Hey, I'm trying to come through here.
It's just nice to have someone to talk to, you know? Ever since I got put in charge of the Panopticon, people treat me different, like I'm crazy for wanting to work with altered items.
Okay, game, I know you didn't expect me to sit through this dialogue, but
you
do
know?
not repeat
I
it.
don't want to brag, but it does take a very empathetic person to connect with people.
Doesn't want to brag. Right.
You know, to be fair, you have to have a very high amount of empathy to connect with altered world items. Or altered items.
Still, I don't know why people are making it so personal. I mean, the teams in research handle paranatural materials every day, and no one thinks they're weird. Well, maybe that's not true. Darling is famous for being a bit out there, but when he's weird, it's charming. Altered items really aren't that frightening once you get to know them. If you figure out what they like or don't like, you'll be able to sense them off. Then there's nothing to bring. I guess at the end of the day...
Shut the fuck up, Langston. I would suggest he was both Langston and also nicer, you know? Which is like, Langston, shut the fuck up. And Langston's like, oh, sorry, ma'am. And the Jesse's like, no, I'm sorry, Langston. I lost my temper there for a moment. You're fine. It's like, oh, okay. Well, I'll be sure not more, you bastards. All filled up with fucking perks. Oh, that's interesting. Not particularly great, though. Alright. Is there anything here at this hidden location? Who knows, man, I was supposed to come back in here later. Oh wait, no, there's a light. Alright, well, secrets. I sure do love me some secrets. God. It's the bad guy. sorry, I'm a director. I don't give a shit about the personnel. They're meant to follow my orders and die. I'm not protecting shit. I don't know, I'll be honest, I read like a really good article on Vice.com of all things about this game and specifically kind of the board and, you know, interpreting it more as a metaphor for the boards we have in actual reality, you know, where you don't really understand them, but you kind of do understand the reason they exist just to gain their power and to benefit themselves, you know? Like, the board is very obviously using Jesse for their own means and for their own gang, or their own game. And Jesse kind of just goes along with it. Because, in part, she sort of has to, in part because it's convenient, and, you know. But, like, ultimately, I think that the enemy is the board. Like, the board is sinister and evil. But I don't know. I like personally. I find the board to be a bit endearing in a way, because like I don't know. I love that like it doesn't like understand human language, and like even that is a bit more of a metaphor kind of for capitalism and like the disassociation from reality, morality, pretty much anything and everything that rich people face when they become rich.
Alright, Ati. Was this what you had in mind?
Oh, was there something for me to get? Yeah, the store just like got rid of all the stuff that was there. And then... Is there anything? Nothing? Really? Alright. Man, why didn't none of the radios work? I just want to listen to some fucking tunes. I'll be honest, I was between saying jam and tunes, and I decided that I wanted to go for tunes after I kind of already decided to go for jam. So it sounds like, if you're ever curious why sometimes I'll start out a word and I'll be like June, and I'm like, nope, didn't mean that. That's why. Okay, this is where I just was. So, what do you lead to? What's your point? Nothing? Yeah, I guess nothing. Was I supposed to activate something in here?
No AC, no mold spore circulation. But might get a bit stuffy in here. Thing do all this?
I wasn't sure what you were about for a second, Jesse.
Reminder, the law of three also applies to all faucets within the oldest house. Be mindful and don't cause any aquatic misconduct. Thank you for your attention.
Lots of dark corners to hide in. Okay, let's get the lights on and clear him out.
This one I like a lot more than the other one. All I gotta do is press the button. A bit more exciting having to figure out that I only need 2 generators. going, Harmon? Look, it's me. Motel complaint. Hey, Stu, did you ever hear about Fisher? Got himself in trouble in the motel. Why the hell does anyone volunteer to stake out that place? Gives me the creeps. But hey, at least he came back, if you can call it that. Saw some of the footage they pulled out of there with him. Tom down in evidence processing showed me. Crazy stuff. Fisher had the cameras pointed at himself half the time. I'm guessing he went nuts on day one. He did catch something though. Got one of those fiber optic cameras under the door of the room he was hiding in and recorded something out in the hall. Looked like a shadow. Maybe human? Tom tried to get the quality up, but it's still blurry as fuck. Just reaffirms my position. Stay the fuck out of the motel. Anyway, up for some shoom later? Lisa got up to an hour and 38 minutes yesterday. New record to beat. See ya, Dave. Return to active investigations. Ah, that's an old item. Honestly, was not really expecting you to open up. That's okay. Oh, I got 2 ability points. Nope. Mods that affect launch also affect multi-launch. Fucking good. They better. Alright, let's go beat this fucking demon from the dark with my little cat ears. Like, you might be shrouded in darkness where I can't see you. I got cat eyes. Well, I don't have cat eyes, I have cat ears, but I'm gonna kill you anyway. Let me at him.
Director, ma'am.
Let me in.
Great timing. Hartman just came through here. God, he was hideous. He tore the security door into the Breakballs AWE site wide open. He was so ugly. Like, wow. I got a good look at him, and Christ, he does not look like he used to. The hiss must have messed him up or something. He looks like a bar rag that's been twisted by the world's strongest man. Or a monster from some 80s horror movie. You know, back when it was all practical effects? Ugh, nasty.
Real
Did you say
professional,
something?
Winston.
Remember, I can't hear you. Never mind, just go after Hartman. Ah, so disgusting.
Alright, let's go murder Hartman.
The darkness wants to hide the past and make me lose my way. I trust what I read on these pages. I wrote them for a reason. Cut through the reality, tear it apart, and rewrite it. They are drawn to the mystery.
Sure, Alan Wake. Whatever you say. Mr. Successful Writer.
Stuck. Let's go take care of it. Down we go.
Thank you for meeting with us again, Dr. Hartman.
It's my pleasure, gentlemen. I hope the information I've provided thus far has been of some small use.
It's been invaluable, Doctor. Really, we have a much clearer picture of this event, thanks to your accounts.
Well, I do consider myself a keen observer.
We did have one question, though. You mentioned in an earlier conversation that your patients displayed, and I'm paraphrasing here, unnatural abilities that you in fact encouraged during their time in your lodge. It'd be very helpful if you could fill us in on the details there.
Of course. Like yourselves, I work to understand and even bend the rules of our earthly paradigm. My patient's well-being was paramount, of course, but I would hardly be a man of science if I did not reach out at the underlying truth. As I stated in my written proposal, I believe working alongside your organization could be greatly beneficial to both parties. Sharing notes, as they say.
Thank you, Doctor. That's all we need to hear. Remy?
Dr. Emil Hartman, you have been found in breach of Codes 4, 8, and 74 of the Federal Bureau of Control Criminal Offense System.
What? You can't do this? I am a well-connected man. You're making a dire mistake, my friend.
You will be detained until further notice, and all personal property will be confiscated, including the Cauldron Lake Lodge.
That's preposterous. You can't just seize my property. I'm a United States citizen. I have rights. That lodge is my life's work. I'm offering you years of research.
Get him out of here.
You're making a mistake. You have to listen to me. You have to listen.
I would say, I don't know if the game's gonna pull a Hartman is right, but I gotta say, as a communist myself, I am kind of pro big government. Like, I don't think the government job is to always be a friendly face that helps the people. I think that should be their main job. But then their other job is going up to fucking people who should be separate from society and going, yep, you're gonna be in jail for these reasons, and here's why, here's what you can do about it, but you have no rights. Like, you used your personal property to, like, torture and experiment on people, and that's our job. So don't be fucking trying to steal our goddamn job. Ooh, motel hotel. Hooray.
I've forgotten again. I had a plan. I know it. I've forgotten. He's coming. I've got to get out of here. Dive deep.
Nice little deep dive there, Alan.
Whatever is going on with Wake, he clearly needs some help.
Miami. See America. I'm assuming I can grab a light in one of these rooms. It would be simple.
escape, right? His escape. Lake needed a hero. A hero needed a crisis. For the part in the story about the government agency, Wake needed something special, something to convey an alien force mimicking human intelligence.
Another replica. Like the one they made for Ordinary. I wonder what happened here.
After all this time, we're still fighting. Fucking hell, man. I hate this stupid fucking concept for a boss. Like, it's not fun, it's not engaging, like, it's a little bit spooky. Like, I think if you took certain elements of this and, like, really refined it and put it in, like, a good, tight area, it would work. It would work great. But since it's kind of all random with how it's done. Oh. Ah, I finally get the...
You are pretty rough on the eyes.
Okay. Alright. Cool. I love getting hit by a projectile that has no indication that it's coming after I get fucking wombo comboed in 2 fucking hits to fucking a fraction of my health bar, you know? Like, I have full fucking health, and yet I can't take more than fucking 3 hits. Wait, why is my energy not coming back? Dude, do I have to be in the light for my energy to recharge? Okay. Sure, game. Alright. I hate to be a baby gamer with my baby gamer rage, but like, the dude was around the fucking corner. Motherfucker pre-fired like a fucking pussy. Like, fuck me. I play fucking single-player games so that way I can have a fucking idea of what it would be like to play against people that aren't the fucking terrible worst shit that can only be good at a fucking thing by playing like an absolute fucking bitch. But in this fucking game, it's like, oh no, the enemies are bitches. You know, it's real realistic. And like, that's terrible. Why would you do that? What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, again, the littlest fucking person. The littlest bitch. Thanks for doing that with no indication. I fucking love that for you, man.
Hartman won't be a problem anymore, Langston. But investigations need someone to run it. Interested?
I've seen what happens to sector heads, ma'am. No, thank you. Ma'am, I'm getting something on my terminal here, an AWE alert from Bright Falls, Washington. But it might be a glitch. The date's all wrong, a couple of years in the future. And we're in lockdown, there shouldn't be any incoming signals.
Maybe it was active before we went into lockdown? Are there agents on site?
Let me check. Agent Estevez is the field agent in charge of monitoring the site, so she should be there to let us know if the situation has been through any major changes recently.
Things set in motion. If the alarm's true, then so is the reason for the alarm. The effect must follow the cause. It's happening again. A return. You have been warned.
Hey, you didn't need to warn me about a new Alan Wake game coming up. I'm not gonna buy it. I didn't play the first one. I don't give a shit. I don't care if you make a whole DLC in this game that I kind of like based around Alan Wake. I don't give a fuck about Alan Wake. Alright, well, is that it?
This must be where they studied Hartman. Kinda looks like Dylan's cell. I wonder if they treated him as badly.
My work alone.
Jesse, why are there so many pauses in between the sentences you fucking speak? Like, every time you fucking talk, it's not like one sentence after another like a fucking human goddamn being. It's, man, I wonder if this place is, like, kind of weird. You know, sort of like my brother Dylan's cell. There was a really bad time for him. Like, you're killing me, Jesse. You're killing me.
These are the notes of Dr. Emil Hartman. I am continuing my work alone again since certain parties were too blind to recognize a golden opportunity. Despite my generous offers, the conversations came to naught. Some people simply do not value collaboration as I do. Though I believe now that it was for the best. The sort of bold, pioneering work that I am undertaking cannot thrive under the shackles of bureaucracy and regulation. I have a history of seeking such partnerships. There was a time when I hoped Alan Wake and I could collaborate. Together we could have produced art such that the world has never seen. But Wake was stubborn, egotistical. Writers usually are. Disappointing nonetheless. But now, like Tom before him, Wake has disappeared into Cauldron Lake. And this is where my work turns hypothetical. Since he was lost to the lake, Thomas Zane has been observed by various townspeople. This indicates to me that the individuals within the lake are not entirely gone. I anticipate Wake will similarly return one day. While I may harbor some resentment for the man, his raw talent and determination are undeniable. From this, I have concluded that the lake and the dark place within it are not as removed from this world as I previously thought. Given my acute awareness of what awaits within, my meticulous preparations, and my considerable education, I believe myself much more prepared than either Tom or Wake. I should be able to cross into that dark realm with the chance to return as they have. All that remains is the dive itself. It frightens me, I admit, but such is the burden of the truth seeker. I will take my plunge into the dark tomorrow, with only the light of knowledge to guide me. It is time for a breakthrough. Until I return.
See, honestly, like, I know nothing about Alan Wake, so keep this in mind, you know, don't feel bad about me shitting on a game you might enjoy or find interesting. But, like, at least from what I can tell from it, and I can tell about it, like, Alan Wake is obviously a stand-in for the writer, Sam Lake, and, like, I don't know, I mean, it's always best to write what you know, and, like, me as an aspiring writer myself, like, I don't know, I care about the characters I make. There's a piece of me within any and all characters I make, because, you know, I think humans at the end of the day are, like, easily related to. and like, you know, we all share aspects and we can all see ourselves in each other. But yet we're all different and we all make different choices, go down different paths. It's fascinating to discover like the different paths you could have chosen, different ways you could have thought about things, you know? Like I'm saying that you know, possibly it might not even be true. You know, it's just kind of a coincidence and kind of funny that the writer's last name rhymes with the character in his game that is a writer. You know, maybe it's just a coincidence. You know. But it's like, I don't know, it feels very jerk-offy to be like, oh, Alan Wake is such a dedicated and good writer. Like, I don't know, again, I've never played Alan Wake, but it, like, it's always infinitely more relatable to, like, have someone who's unsure of themselves, you know? Like, oftentimes when you jump into a story, you find the character at a low point. Because, you know, if you don't start out at a low point, or, you know, you can start at a high point, but then you gotta bring him to a low point, so you can bring him back up to the high point for the ending. Theoretically, I mean, of course you can do whatever you want. And that's the great thing about writing, is it is just full freedom. And, like, I don't know. And again, like, me talking right now, it's full freedom. I'm just saying what I think and what I feel. But you should always think about what you say before you say it, and you should always, you know, like, I always find the fascination for deeper meaning and ideas to be fascinating. Like, the board, more than anything else in this game, is interesting to me, because that is, like, a pretty implicit metaphor for the boards of the real world. And, like, I don't know, it's, like, I don't know, it's sort of, like, implied, like, throughout the game that, you know, the board does not have your best interests at heart, and, like, you know, it's pretty sinister and kind of ununderstandable, unknowable, and, like, you know, I feel like the point of the game should be getting to know the board, to understand it and its motives. Maybe the board isn't so bad after all. Maybe, you know, just because life is from a different place and exists in a different way than what life you think of it as on Earth, you know, like, that doesn't mean that it's inherently evil or it has to consume humans. It's very possible that it just doesn't understand the value of a human life. Because, you know, it, they, whatever it might be, whatever title you want to call it.
Darkness everywhere. Lads in here have died standing up. Lighten them up.
Ah, this certainly feels familiar.
But I don't know, like, writing is a very, like, fascinating and interesting thing, and it's great to see when games and other forms of media go in that direction, to go to extremes where you can't really go in real life.
Agent Fisher, day 6 inside the motel. Utilized surveillance methods are as follows. Fiber optic cameras slid under the individual room.
Eh. I'll be honest, it's probably interesting, but I'm in the mood for talking, not for listening.
Reminder, all employees are required to report their hours at the end of each month. The Federal Bureau of Control maintains that time is not subjective, and hours passed on alternative planes cannot be claimed. Astral dives do not accumulate overtime compensation. Thank you for your attention.
What a great place to work. Don't you all love capitalism? But I don't know, like a game I think that really is like deserving of all the praise it gets, and like it like I don't know how to describe what I'm thinking at this exact moment, but like a game that like truly has fantastic writing is Disco Elysium. Like I think Disco Elysium is one of the best written things to uh, ever exist and may ever exist. But it's like I don't know, like that like uh Disco Elysium is like a game kind of designed to challenge you and to make you question yourself and your own beliefs, and like I don't know, I feel like the writer of this game is very much taking a page from J.J. Abrams of like, ooh, it's a mystery box. Like mystery is rather well, mystery is not rather easy to write, but mystery as a starting concept can be a very easy place to start from, because you know you literally have to write less and you know, kind of push forward the idea of intrigue and like, ooh, what's gonna be in this box, you know? It's like, are we ever gonna reveal what's in the box? You know? And like that can maybe be a good way to get people engaged and to keep them interested, but like if you don't ever show what's in the box, or you keep talking about the box and like, oh man, the box is really gonna have some interesting shit in it, but then, you know, you never open up the fucking box, well, what was the goddamn point, you know? Don't even say anything about the box, you know? Just let the box open and let the content speak for itself, you know? But I think the thing, you know, with poorly written mysteries is that when the box is opened, it's not all that interesting and sometimes doesn't even make sense. And now you could say, oh, maybe that's the point, you know, it's all otherworldly stuff, you know, it's mystical, Lovecraftian, extra-dimensional entities that exist and do things without any rule or knowledge of how they affect.
It's 1 cent.
I think I'm gonna head back to the main area. Oh, look at me. Can I either get that or I get that? Nah, I'll get that first. I don't know, because, like, I think that is sort of the fascinating thing about this game, is you want to get more details. You want to figure out why stuff is doing what it's doing. But, like, the problem with that is that, like, some stuff just sort of exists, and you're never given an explanation for it. And now you could say something along the lines of, oh, well, that's realistic, you know? That's how it would like typically be in real life or something. and like, you know, to a certain extent, I get that, but it's like, I don't know, it's such a nothing of an ending to like the main story of this game, and then the foundation it's like a nice addition, but like again, it does not provide any more of like a satisfactory ending. You know, it just kind of feels more like sequel bait. And then there's Altered World Events DLC or whatever, which is just literally fucking DLC bait. Oh, we're making a new Alan Wake game. Alan Wake 2 is coming out. Get excited, folks. You know. We all love Alan Wake here, don't we? And I'm like, do we? I've never fucking played the game. I've heard it's not particularly great. Like, you know, I'm sure some parts of it are pretty interesting and pretty decent, but like, I feel like ultimately the game is,
French is dead, along with
you know,
Salvador and Tomasi. Marshall's missing. Darling is somewhere. How are we gonna recover from this?
yeah, they're just people, you know? You guys are people too that probably have names, you know? And then when you all die, you know, another random nameless NPC in the next game will be like, oh yeah, they all died. And, no. But like, I don't know. You know, again, I don't want to come down too hard on Alan Wake. I'm sure people enjoy the game, but I don't know. I'm not particularly interested in it. Like, I don't know. In order to get me into like a sort of horror thing, like I like the fourth dimensional entity horror. Like, I think Bloodborne is really fascinating because of the cosmic horror element to it, and like the unknowable nature of a lot of the creatures you end up fighting, or how the whole thing works. But there are details to explain to you kind of how it happened, and you can sort of take your own thoughts and feelings away from it. Like, I don't know, not I'm sure not everyone who plays Bloodborne comes away with the feeling of, oh yeah, churches are evil, but like that's a very big thing in the game, and it takes quite a lot not to notice kind of the critique of religion and church in Bloodborne. Like it's very bold-facedly about how you know, a church just does not understand and will only do things to benefit itself and its population, regardless of whether it is actually beneficial or not. You know, as long as you're following the doctrine, that's what matters. And it's like, obviously, that should not be the thing that matters. I wonder if this does it. You can still hear the hiss though. I was kind of hoping that would stop the hiss from chatting. Oh yeah, and I think another thing I kind of wanted to mention with the writing of this game is that, like, for a lot of the stuff in Disco Elysium, like, it all like, a lot of it feels very personal, and like, it feels real to a certain extent, how certain characters act, how like, why some people are the way they are, and like, you know, like I don't know, there's a very distinct, like, humanity to each and every one of the characters in Disco Elysium, and like, I don't really feel that humanity. Like, I don't feel like Jesse is like a full fleshed out character and her own person. I mean, oh, I just want to check something here. Control writers. Okay, yeah, and unless I'm assuming incorrectly, but the two writers on this game, at least the two build head writers, are, you know, Sam Lake and then Joss Stubbs. And, yeah, Joss Stubbs is just a guy. Yeah, the main writer just being Sam Lake. Like, Jesse feels very much like a character, like a female character written by a man, you know? Like, it, like, I don't know, and this is the case with either gender, and then also, you know, if you're reading a good writer, you shouldn't be able to tell at all that, like, oh, this is a person written by the opposite gender. Because, like, you know, I mean, I say opposite gender, but I mean, you know, man versus woman, the typical binary is not a binary at all, you know? It's very complicated, and gender can be a very personal thing for some people. And, like, I don't know, and I'm not, like, saying, like, oh, Jessie here should act womanly, or, you know, she's, like, written to be like to fulfill sort of like male fantasy. Not really. Like it's more to kind of give like a female protagonist to sort of appeal to everyone, because I feel like male protagonists typically appeal more so to like some men and some women, while a female protagonist, I would say, appeals to like more men and more women, you know? Like, because, don't get me wrong, take Arthur Morgan, for example. Fucking women love Arthur Morgan. Men love Arthur Morgan. Everybody loves Arthur Morgan, you know? Or you might not like Arthur Morgan, and you might have your own reasons for it, and I would perfectly understand them. Or maybe you would have some that are absurd and I wouldn't understand. But, you know. Ah, shoot. What was I in the middle of saying? I'll be honest, it's called Sober Tober, but, like, at some point I started puffing on my pretty much empty vape, so I'm a little stoned at the moment, but not excessively so. But yeah, like, I think for me, like, what Jesse is missing is, like, a touch of understanding and, like, humanity, and somebody who can, like, genuinely relate to Jesse. Because, like, you know, I don't know, this might just be a me thing, but, like, I think if you're making a protagonist, you should design them specifically to be pretty relatable. And Jesse is, like, designed to be relatable, but not relatable in like a traditional sense where, you know, she's a sort of every woman, every man, you know, pretty basic in demeanor, is surprised by all the different events, you know, or you know, again, like I feel like she sort of like flip-flops between like overconfident, well, not even necessarily overconfident, but just like confident paranatural like killer slash fighter, you know, like where she's like, oh, more hiss, all right, time to fucking fight him, and then like sort of fish out of water, shy, antisocial person, And, like, I feel like it's all designed just to appeal to people rather than actually designing a character that's, like, good, you know? Like, I don't know, again, I don't mean to keep going back to, like, Arthur Morgan or, say, Geralt in The Witcher 3, but, like, both of those characters are rather dynamic, and also, like, the rest of the cast in those games are very dynamic and interesting characters that, like, I really love. Like, Yennefer in The Witcher 3 is fantastic. I love Yennefer's character, you know? And if you're one of those fucking people out there that's like, oh, Yennefer's a bitch, you should date the girl that, you know, I don't want to say this word, but basically took advantage of a man who had lost his memory. Like, hey, I'm just saying, if we're like friends and then I lose my memory and then you convince me, oh yeah, hey, we're in love and we're dating and there's nothing else to worry about, like, fuck you. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, that's genuinely, like, fucked up and weird. But, like, again, also, I like Triss in the games, you know? Like, she's an interesting character, but, like, at least for me, I think Geralt should obviously end up with Yennefer. And, like, Ciri in The Witcher 3 is really great, too. I think, actually, Ciri is a good version of Jessie. Like, Ciri is, like, a really good version of Jessie, because, you know, she is, like, at some points in the game, kind of awkward and weird, because she's grown up in all these different places. At one point, she was a princess, so she kind of has this, like, sort of fanciness to her, but then at other times, she was trained by a witcher, so she has this sort of confident ability to go around and kill monsters and save a little girl. And, like, you know, they're all very, like, interesting aspects about Ciri, and they all work for her character because she is a character. She's fully fleshed out, and she's written not to, like, appeal to people, but to tell a good story. And, like, again, I feel like that's the difference between, you know, like, Jesse in this game as a whole versus, like, say, something like The Witcher 3 or Red Dead Redemption 2. Like, I mean, again, those games are sort of designed with appealing to people in mind, and, you know, you don't want to write a story that everybody's going to hate and nobody's going to like, but, you know, you should write what you want, and you should, like, go out with a set vision. Like, you know, like, let's say, for example, let's say we live in a world where I don't like The Last of Us Part 2. I think it's cringy and bad, and the gameplay is repetitive and nothing new, and, you know, Neil Druckmann is a hack who fucking got lucky ripping off the most basic fucking story you could ever think of. Oh, father has to go save his daughter. Wow, I've never seen that before. Oh, and there's zombies too. Oh my, tell me more, Neil Druckmann. I've never heard of a story like this before ever in my entire life. But, you know, ultimately, the game isn't about that. The game is about the relationship between Joel and Ellie, the relationship of humanity, of humans with each other. And, like, that game is, like, rather interesting. And then, like, for The Last of Us Part 2, I'm not going to directly spoil it in case you haven't seen it, but you know what I'm talking about, the big spoiler for The Last of Us Part 2. Like, let's say I really didn't like that. I think it's really great, and it's, like, very good for several different reasons. And, like, you know, I'm not like, oh yeah, you know, I love gore and viscera and just torturing people. Like, no, like, if that upset you, if, like, this spoiler scene, which I'm sure you've figured it out by now, even if you haven't even played the game, like, like that scene, even if it, like the scene is supposed to upset you, but like even if you don't like it, I still respect the bold decision, like the choice that is made there in a story, you know? Because like I feel like a lot of this game doesn't make any choice, you know? Say nothing and don't be criticized rather than saying something and be criticized for it, you know? Like that's a fear I feel that's a fear I feel a lot myself, you know? Like, somebody come in and be like, oh, you're a fucking idiot. You should never fucking write. Thank fucking God you've never written anything, because it would be fucking terrible and awful. Jesus fucking Christ. Listen to this motherfucker. He thinks he knows best. He thinks he knows better than entire fucking goddamn game company that has produced several different games that have all sold well and funded the sequels for the future. This guy's shitting all over Alan fucking Wake when what the fuck has he made? What the fuck has he done with his worthless, miserable little fucking life other than criticize other people for actually making something while he makes nothing? You know? And you can say that to me if you want to be mean. But, like, I don't know, ultimately, like, people are gonna have their opinions about things, and, you know, you can decide where you fall, what kind of opinion you want to have, and, like, you know, it's like human nature to argue with people and to, you know, like, try and figure things out. What the fuck is this? Am I supposed to be in here? I wonder what that's about. But yeah, I don't know if I finished most of my points, but hopefully you get the sort of general idea of what I'm talking about. Okay, yeah, you shoot all the guys, the hiss does stop. Interesting. But like, I don't know, I'll always appreciate like somebody making a choice in a story or choosing to tell a story in a certain way. And like, I don't know, and all the, like, I don't know, it's very interesting interpreting a text. Like, I'll be honest, I'll take this little moment to talk about it. You know, probably about a month ago or so now, decided to read Fire Punch. And now, if you don't know, I can't remember the guy's first name off the top of my head, but I know his last name is Fujimoto. He is the writer for Chainsaw Man, and before he wrote Chainsaw Man, he wrote Fire Punch. And, like, I had seen on TikTok, like, a lot of memes where, like, people were like, oh, hey, you know, I'll go back and read this, this author's previous work, and, kind of see what's up. And then it's like, it's usually one or two things. It's either like, I don't want to spoil it, so honestly, if you've been listening to me and you're like, Fire Punch sounds kind of interesting, even though I've told you nothing about it, like, here, I mean, I knew about these things before I started reading the manga, or manga. I don't know, I say manga because I'm an American, but again, I don't know which one to say. I don't know which one makes me sound like less of an asshole. But regardless, when I read the series, the two things I saw for were like, oh my god, it's got casual incest in it, and like, it doesn't? Like, I mean, read through it, you know? Because then there's another thing where there's a friendly doctor guy with 2 dogs that he wants to, you know, I don't even know how to describe this in like a tasteful or non like fucked up way, but he basically wants his 2 dogs he has to fuck these 2 human girls for some reason. And like again, I know, crazy. And you're like, you read this and you liked it? Yeah, I liked it because you know, I finished the fucking chapter and then I was like, yeah, you fucking where's that fucking next chapter? Because like, no, this isn't going to happen. Like, this is not, like, it can't happen. I swear to fucking God, if it does happen, I'm gonna lose my shit. And then, of course, you read the next chapter, and it doesn't happen. And it's like, whew. And, like, there's a lot of very fucked up aspects about the manga. And, like, the kind of themes it dives into. But, like, the point is you're supposed to look at it metaphorically. Like, the whole sister casual incest thing is weird and gross, but, like, again, man, I really wish I had described Fire Punch before I started just going into spoilers of it, because, like, you know, Fire Punch is essentially about a kind of post-apocalyptic, is there a word for, like Ice Age level of climate change that has happened where everything is in snow and, like, barely anything grows? You know, it's an apocalypse situation, but of the winter variety. And like, there are special humans with powers that allow them to do supernatural, superhuman abilities, you know? So, like, our main character, Fire Punch, he has a constant flame on him from one of the main antagonists of the series, I forget what they're called, but they work for the government, essentially. So, like, this, like, religious zealot, you know, soldier guy has the ability to produce a flame that will not stop burning until there is no organic material left. And he ends up burning this entire village because they have been consuming human flesh, and the human flesh they have been consuming came from our protagonist because he had the ability to regenerate his limbs at an exceptionally fast rate. So he would cut off his arm and other body parts to feed to the people so they wouldn't starve. But then, kind of, one of our antagonists, I don't know, again, like, Fire Punch is a really interesting and fascinating manga. Like, it's not for the faint of heart. Like, if you are not prepared to hear, like, or to read and, you know, somewhat see some of the shit I described and a lot more violence and gore and whatnot, then don't check out the manga. Like, it's quite sad, you know? Like, it's very depressing, but, like, there's a lot of life to it. Like, man, like, I read it, so I'm forgetting how it's pronounced, but the director character, oh my god, they're fucking great. Like, I love them. Like, it's T something, and I can't remember what the rest of it is. But, like, I really loved them as a character, and they were really fascinating, and it was really interesting because it was like a meta commentary on the manga itself. And, like, I don't know, I love stuff like that. Like, when a work of fiction is talking about itself, but, you know, you gotta kind of read into it to figure that out, and to sort of take from that, like, what are you trying to say with this, you know? And, like, again, I think, like, Fire Punch has a lot to say, and it is interesting to a certain extent. And it's like, I don't know, again, you know, if you stuck around, I'm sure you don't mind spoilers, but like, ultimately, it's like an Adam and Eve story. It's an Adam and Eve parallel, like, one or the other, a binary, two becomes one, or something along the lines of that, you know? Like, honestly, I might want to watch some, like, I would love to watch a video essay about it to kind of see what somebody else took from it and kind of stuff that I missed and maybe what I interpreted differently. Well, I don't know, that's the fun with media, and that's why I want to be a writer. That's why I want to create things. I want, you know, to make characters that people love. I want to make characters that people hate, characters that people love to hate and hate to love. Like, you know, just kind of like do interesting stuff for writing and write about things that have never been written before. Write about things that have always been written and will always continue to be written because there's like 7 stories or something. But just put my own spin on it. Alright. Well, I don't know how long I spent just talking about other media and writing and my feelings, but I hope you enjoyed. I might come back to Control at some point, but I think for now this is going to be the last thing I do with it. So, say goodbye to Control. It's interesting, even if I wish it was a bit fleshed out more, or ooh, maybe something different than flesh. Maybe just something seemingly inorganic, but yet is nonetheless organic in nature. It grows, it changes, it develops, it recedes. You know. I don't know, but anyway. Enjoy your day, night, whatever you got going on. Wish the best for you. I just realized Jesse's like in the middle of blinking. There we go. That's a much better face to leave off on. Looking up, looking forward to the future, because it's coming no matter what, and we got to make it as best as we can.